Shri Radha-kunda and Shyama-kunda Parikrama Part 1.
Radha-kunda is situated 22 kilometers from Vrindavan and 26 kilometers from Mathura. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathurapuri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavana because of Krishna's Raslila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavana is Govardhana Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Shri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And, above all, the super excellent Shri Radha-kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Shri Krishna. Where, then, is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha-kunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhana Hill? Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Instruction. How to get there? You can go by taxi or you can find shared autos from Vrindavan to take you to Shri Radha-kunda. They charge around 30 rupees per person. It is a tradition that before circumambulating Radha-kunda, one first offers respectful obeisances to Kundeshwara Mahadva, while asking for his blessings in order to perform a successful Parikrama around the two sacred kundas. Kundeshwara Mahadva is the most famous temple of Lord Shiva in Radha-kunda and is one of the four Kshetrapalas, the protecting deities of the sacred kunda, with Kundeshwara Mahadva guarding the kunda's southern portion. The word Pala means protector and Kshetra means area. The other Kshetrapalas of Radha-kunda are Rameshwara, east, Mahadva, north, and Bankundi, west. During the Rasa Leela in Vrindavana, Lord Shiva arrived there in the form as a gopi, and at that time Krishna gave him the name Gopeshwara and asked him to protect the gopis, the Rasa Mandala, and the entire Dhamma of Vrindavana. Therefore one can see the Digpala deities of Lord Shiva in all the important holy places around Vraja. Radha-kunda appeared after Lord Krishna killed the demon Ristajura. The previous name of Ristajura was Dvijasatamavarata. He studied under Guru Brahaspati. One day while studying he was sitting in front of his guru with spread out legs, and when his guru saw this he angrily said, "O fool! You're sitting in front of me like a bull, so become a bull." According to this curse Varatentu became a demoniac bull in the company of other demons. One day this Ristajura entered in between the cows and cowherd boys while they were performing the pastime of cowherding, assuming the form of a bull. Hearing his cruel cries the cowherd boys and girls fearfully cried out, "Krishna! Krishna! Save us!" Shri Krishna then consoled them, saying, "Don't be afraid." This demon began to run up to Shri Krishna in great anger, but Shri Krishna caught him by the ends of his horns, whirled him around and threw him on the ground. Then he pulled out the bull's horns and killed him with them. In this way the bull died at the hands of Shri Krishna and attained liberation. Because Ristajura was in the form of a bull, which is considered to be the symbol of religion, the gopis told him that he had made an offense. Also Radharani rebuked Krishna, saying that he became impure by killing a bull, the symbol of religion. She suggested that he could get purified by taking bath in the holy rivers of all sacred places. Rather than travel to all the holy places, the Lord brought all the holy places to that spot. He struck the ground with his heel and immediately all the waters from all holy rivers appeared. This place became known as Samakunda. In a competitive mood, the gopis led by Srimati Radharani also created a kunda by digging the earth with their bengals. All the holy rivers then petitioned Srimati Radharani to allow them to enter her new kunda. Thus Radha-kunda appeared. About 5,000 years later the location of Radha-kunda and Samakunda was unknown, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavana and discovered them. Later, Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami supervised the expansion and building of the kundas to what they are today. In the center of Radha-kunda of today's small area with a wall around it called Kankanakunda, or Kankankunda. It is the area of the original pond created by gopis with their bracelets. Radha-kunda appeared at 12th midnight on Bahilastami, the 8th day of waning moon in the month of Kartika. In the autumn, October, November, at the appearance day of Radha-kunda, many thousands of people gather and wait for the midnight. Then they take bath in Radha-kunda. It is really ecstatic and exiting event with ghee lamps shining on darkened waters of Radha-kunda.
Shri Radha-kunda. Shri Syama-kunda.
This place is known as the Sangam or meeting place, where the two sacred kundas, Radha-kunda and Shyama-kunda, meet each other through a small channel beneath the Sangama causeway. It is said that at this sacred place, in their transcendental liquid forms, Radha and Krishna eternally embrace each other without fear of ever being separated. The Vraja Riti Chintamani says, longing to meet, but forced to remain apart, Radha and Krishna assumed the forms of these two lakes and in this way are eternally splashed with the nectar of their meeting. This form of Radha and Krishna eternally embracing one another is called Jugala Krishna. The Ghatas on either side of the Sangama are also called the Jugala Sangama Ghata. This is also the place where, after Radharani had finished digging her own kunda, the holy waters in Syama-kunda broke through its banks and filled Radha-kunda with the water of the holy tirthas. The marble impressions of Radha and Krishna's lotus feet known as the Trana Chinha. The word Trana means lotus feet and Chinha means indented or engraved. There is a small temple of Shri Giri Raj at the Sangam.
Shri Mahaprabhu Mandir.
In the year 1670, the Mughal tyrant Aurangzeb was planning an attack on Vrindavana in order to destroy all the temples and desecrate all the deities. Fortunately, having received an advance warnings through spies employed in Aurangzeb's court by the Rajput princes, all the important deities of the Gaudiya Goswamis were smuggled out of Vrindavana in bullock carts and taken to Radha-kunda. It has been said that the deities were actually hidden in the kunda until the initial danger had passed. The deities spent a number of days at Radha-kunda, where they were worshipped daily by the local residents before being taken to Kamyavana, and then finally to Jaipura in Rajasthan. After the Gaudiya Goswami's deities left Radha-kunda, the local Vrajavasis and Vaishnavas felt great separation from them and therefore it was decided to establish replica temples containing the Pratibhumurtis or empowered expansions of the original Goswami deities. This also meant that residents of Radha-kunda could have darshana of the 7 Goswami temples of Vrindavana, without having to leave Radha-kunda. This is one of the famed 7 Goswami temples of Radha-kunda and one can see the Pratibhu deities of Shri Radha Gopinata. The original temple of Radha Gopinata was established by Mata Pandita Goswami in Vrindavana after he and his dear friend Paramananda Bhattacharya discovered the deity of Gopinataji buried in the ground at Vansivada. In all the Gopinata temples, Ananga Manjari, Radha's younger sister, is standing in Radha's place on the left of Krishna, and Radha is standing on the right.
Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir.
This is the sitting place of Lord Nityananda, who toured Vraja Mandala some years before Lord Chaitanya arrived in the holy Dhamma. According to the Bhakti Ratnakara, Lord Nityananda was completely overcome by the transcendental mood and behavior of Lord Balrama. Lord Nityananda behaved exactly like an avatuta or holy madman as he wandered around Vraja in transcendental ecstasy. An avatuta is a sadhu who has lost all mundane consciousness of living in the material world and is completely absorbed in God consciousness.
Shri Nityananda Prabhu Baitak.
This is believed to have been the first temple established at Radha-kunda. The word Purana means very old or ancient. During the first excavation of Radha-kunda undertaken by Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, a set of small deities of Radha and Krishna were discovered lying hidden in the mud. The deities were given to a local Brahmana who began to worship these deities in a small room next to the kunda. These deities are considered by local Vaishnavas to be the presiding deities of Radha-kunda. Unfortunately, these deities were stolen by thieves many years ago, and replica deities referred to as the Pratibhu expansions were installed in the temple. In the courtyard of this temple stood a banyan tree entwined with a neem tree, which in Vrajavasi folklore represents Jugala Kishore, the dual form of the divine lovers Radha and Krishna.
Shri Radha Krishna Purana Mandir. Jugal Kishore.
This temple was established by the followers of Vakresvara Pandita, who was a close associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This temple contains the Pratibhu deities of Shri Radha-kunda, the empowered replicas of the deities that were personally worshipped by Vakresvara Pandita himself. The original deities of Radha-kunda are still being worshipped in a shrine next to the Gambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya stayed at Jagannath Puri. The Pushpa Samadhi of Vakresvara Pandita can also be seen here to the left of the deity room. According to the Govardhana Dasa, Vakresvara Pandita was the Gopi Tangavadya in Krishna's pastimes, and this temple stands on the actual site of Tangavadya Devi's personal kunja at Radha-kunda.
Shri Radha-kunda Mandir. Shri Vakresvara Pandita Goswami.
This is the spot on the banks of Radha-kunda where Radha and Krishna used to enjoy their swing pastimes known as Jahnava Mata. During the transcendental pastimes of Jahnava Mata enacted by Radha and Krishna at this place, hanging down from the banyan tree was an amazing swing created by Vrinda Devi that was shaped like a lotus flower with 16 petals. The divine lovers Radha and Krishna would sit on this lotus flower-shaped swing, and then the Ashtasakhas and Ashtamanjaris would also sit on the same swing in a circle facing Radha and Krishna. Another group of Gopis would then push the swing to and fro. Each of the Sakhas and Manjaris sitting on the swing would think that Radha and Krishna were looking directly at them, as they swung back and forth enjoying the Jahnava pastimes in great transcendental ecstasy. This temple was established around 1890, by the king of Manipura, Shirakanda Maharaja, after he had a most unusual dream. In the king's dream, the deity of Balagopala worshipped by his family, appeared to him in his dream and requested that the king to build the temple in such a place that the deity would be able to have the darshana of the sacred Radha-kunda, and built a large sandstone temple according to the specifications given to him in the dream by Lord Gopala. Therefore, this temple was built in the exact spot from the deity, while sitting on the simhasan inside the temple, has a clear view of Radha-kunda and simultaneously can see the sun rising at dawn over the sacred kunda, and in fact, the first rays of the rising sun falls directly on the deity of Lord Gopala. In 1994, Bhakti Swarupa Damodara Maharaja took possession of this temple.
Shri Gopal Manipur Mandir. His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, Shila Shripad Maharaj.
This temple contains the pratibhya deities of Shri Shri Radha-kunda and is one of the 7 Goswami temples of Radha-kunda. The original temple of Radha-kunda in Vrindavana was established by Shyama Pandita Goswami.
Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Mandir.
This is not one of the Goswami temples of Radha-kunda but was established by the followers of Jahnava Mata, the wife of Lord Nityananda, after her visit to Radha-kunda in 1582. While staying at Radha-kunda, Jahnava Mata would regularly sit under a tree the banks of the sacred kunda and chant japa. While she was immersed in chanting the holy names of the Lord, she suddenly heard the sound of Krishna's flute, and turning her head, she had the transcendental vision of Lord Gopala standing beneath a nearby Tamil tree in a threefold bending from Tribhangarupa, playing on his flute. The followers of Jahnava Mata decided to establish a temple on the very spot where she had the vision of Lord Gopala. In the temple one can see the deity of Lord Gopala with Radharani standing on the right-hand side of Lord Gopala, and with an Angamanjari on the right. Normally, Radharani stands on Krishna's left, but in all Gopinata temples, Radharani is on the right and her sister Anangamanjari on the left. When she arrived at Radha-kunda, Jahnava Mata met Dasa Goswami, Krishna Dasa Kaviraja, and Gopala Bhatta Goswami. At that time Dasa was in a very pitiable condition, feeling acute separation from both Rupa and Sanatana, whose association he deeply missed since the time of their disappearance. In Vrindavana, Jiva Goswami had requested Jahnava Mata to visit Radha-kunda just to give her divine darshana to Dasa, in order to give him some relief from the raging fire of separation, while hoping that it would give him impetus to go on living. In the Bhakti Ratnakara it says that illustrious personality, Jahnava, glowed with a golden effulgence more brilliant than the sun. When Dasa Goswami saw her coming, he went mad out of ecstatic love. He cried so much that due to the sudden flood of tears that filled his eyes, he momentarily lost sight of her. Jahnava could understand by her spiritual vision the innermost feelings within the heart of Dasa. Tears of divine love poured forth from both their eyes just like well springs. Dasa did not know what to say, or how to please Jahnava, whose own heart was burning in the fire of separation from her beloved husband and eternal consort Lord Nityananda.
Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir.
This is the Samadhi of Dasa Goswami, one of the most intimate followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was affectionately known to all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas as Dasa Goswami. He was born in Bengal in 1494. as the son of a very wealthy landowner, but after hearing about the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his only desire was to surrender before Lord Chaitanya and serve his lotus feet. In order to keep him at home, his father got him married at an early age and also arranged for guards to watch over him. Nevertheless, Raghunatha had absolutely no interest in worldly affairs and made a number of abortive attempts to run away from home, hoping to join Lord Chaitanya and his followers in Jagannath Puri. While still living at his father's house, he had the great fortune to meet Lord Nityananda, who ordered him to utilize his father's wealth and organize a great public feast at Panavati, where he was asked by the Lord to distribute many different varieties of chiradai, a preparation of yogurt, sugar, and flat rice, mixed with various fruits, which was one of Lord Nityananda's favorite dishes. Thousands attended the feast and Lord Nityananda was so happy that he placed his lotus feet on Raghunatha's head and blessed him that he would soon achieve the association of Lord Chaitanya. The famous Chiradai festival of Raghunatha Dasa is still being celebrated every year at Panavati in West. At the tender age of 19, Raghunatha finally managed to escape after eluding his guards and was able to reach Jagannath Puri, where he surrendered before Lord Chaitanya. The Lord placed him under the care of his personal secretary Swarupadamodara Goswami, who expertly trained Raghunatha in all aspects of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy and tradition. Raghunatha Dasa remained at Jagannath Puri serving Lord Chaitanya until the Lord's disappearance in 1534. After the Lord's departure from the world, Raghunatha Dasa went to Vrindavana to take shelter of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, who immediately accepted him as their younger brother. Raghunatha was in such a distraught condition due to the loss of Lord Chaitanya's association, he was even contemplating suicide, by throwing himself from the top of Govardhana hill. Rupa and Sanatana tried to console him, and because he had received a small Govardhana Shila and a set of Radha's favorite Gunja beads, as a gift from Lord Chaitanya, Rupa and Sanatana suggested that he should take shelter of Govardhana hill by performing Parikrama every day and live at Radha-kunda, where he could render service to the sacred kunda so dear to Radha's heart. Raghunatha Dasa remained at Radha-kunda for the rest of his life and became renowned amongst Lord Chaitanya's followers as the embodiment of renunciation. Raghunatha would chant at least 100,000 holy names of Krishna on his japa beads every day and would not sleep more than 1 or 2 hours. Raghunatha ate only enough to keep body and mind together, and it is said that his observance of the regulative principles was so strict and unwavering, that it appeared that his regulative principles were etched in stone, as such lines can never be erased. It is said that after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, Raghunatha experienced such acute separation that he stopped eating solid food, taking only fruit and milk. After the disappearance of Sanatana Goswami, his mood of separation increased and he took only a leaf cup of buttermilk daily. But after the disappearance of Rupa Goswami, he gave up eating altogether. Practically speaking, Raghunatha Dasa, towards the end of his life, was so absorbed in pure Krishna consciousness, that he lost awareness of the material world and his external physical covering. He remained completely absorbed in the consciousness of being a Manjari serving at the lotus feet of Radharani. To illustrate his total absorption in Gopi Baba, there is a very well-known story about his rejecting a gift, being the giver of the gift was a servant, Saki, of Radha's fierce rival Chandravali. One day, a devotee arrived with a leaf cup of buttermilk for Raghunatha Dasa. As Raghunatha held the leaf cup in his hand, he suddenly noticed it was much larger than any of the regular leaf cups he had seen. Feeling somewhat suspicious about the gift-bearing devotee, he asked from where this very large leaf cup had come. When the devotee replied that the leaf cup was brought from a village named Sakasthali, which was the village of Chandravali, in a sudden fit of jealous anger, Raghunatha threw the leaf cup far away, saying that he would have nothing to do with Chandravali, her village, or any of her sakas. The devotee immediately went away in great awe of Raghunatha, feeling extremely blessed to have witnessed Raghunatha's intense mood of love and devotion for Radharani. After having spent more than 40 years performing bhajana at Radha-kunda, in the year 1583, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami finally disappeared from the vision of the world. His Samadhi Mandira was erected at the place on the banks of Radha-kunda where he would sit every day to chant the holy names of the Lord on his japa beads.
Raghunatha Goswami Samadhi.
This is the place on the banks of Radha-kunda where Lord Nityananda's eternal consort Srimati Jahnava Mata would sit every day to chant japa during her stay at Radha-kunda. The word Baithaka means sitting place. Next to the Baithaka is the place where Jahnava Mata would bathe in the sacred kunda. The gata was later named as Ma Jahnava Gata. It is interesting to note that the exact spot where Jahnava Mata sat is the very location in Krishna's pastimes, where a crystal staircase leads to the personal kunja of an Angamanjari which is situated in the center of Radha-kunda. According to the Govardhana Shila, Jahnava Mata appeared as an Angamanjari, the younger sister of Radharani in Krishna's Vrindavana pastimes. Another interesting fact is that when Lord Balrama desires to take part in Krishna's intimate pastimes with the gopis, he manifests himself as an Angamanjari.
Shri Ma Jahnava Mata.
Shri Govinda Gata is situated on the eastern bank of Shri Radha-kunda. When Shri Sanatana took his bath in this gata he saw the swing pastimes of Shri Radha Govinda and realized the confidential purport of the verse Veni Violangana Fana from Shri Rupa Goswami's Katu Puspanjali. One day Sanatana Goswami came to Radha-kunda to meet Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami. Upon his arrival they both got up to greet him and after respectfully seating him, they immersed themselves in discussion of the nectarian pastimes of Shri Radhakrishna. At that time Srila Rupa Goswami was composing hymns in praise of Srimati Radharani, collectively known as Katu Puspanjali. Sanatana Goswami, while reading these, came across one verse. Navaguru Kanagori Pravarandriver Ambram. Mani Stavaka Vidati Veni Violangana Phanam. Here Veni Violangana Phanam means that the braids of Radharani's hair appeared very beautiful like the hoods of a snake. Sanatana Goswami reflected, is that a proper comparison like the hood of a poisonous snake? At noon Sri Sanatana Goswami came to the banks of Radha-kunda, and after offering prayers there, he began to take his bath. Then, on the opposite bank of the kunda, he noticed some cowherd girls playing under the shade of a large tree. As he watched them from the distance, it appeared that a black snake, hanging from the tree, was about to wrap itself around the neck and shoulders of one of those cowherd girls. Sensing some danger he called out to her, "Oh Lali! Look out! There is a snake just behind you." But the girls were absorbed in their play and didn't take notice of him. So he immediately took off running to save them from the impending danger. Seeing him approaching them, Srimati Radharani and her friends began to laugh. Then they disappeared. Sanatana was completely stunned, but then gradually the understanding came to him that Shri Rupa's comparison was appropriate. At this gata is the Bhajanastali of Swami Haridas Maharaja and the temple of Banka Bihari.
Shri Govinda Ghat. Banke Bihari Temple. भजन स्थली और स्वामी हरिदास महाराज।
This is one of the 7 Goswami temples of Radha-kunda where one can see the Pratibhu deities of Shri Radha-Mana. On the simulacrum of this temple can be seen the small deities of Radha-Mana, and to the right, the large deities of Revati Balrama. The original temple of Radha-Mana in Vrindavana was established by Srila Gopala Bhatta Goswami.
श्री राधा रमन मंदिर।
This is one of the 7 Goswami temples of Radha-kunda where one can see the Pratibhu deities of Shri Radha Govinda. The original deity of Lord Govindaji was established in Vrindavana by Srila Rupa Goswami.
श्री राधा गोविंद मंदिर।
This temple contains the famous Govardhana Shila that is non-different from the tongue of Raja Maharaja. The word Jiva means tongue, and the worship of this particular Shila was established by Dasa Goswami. Sometime after the first excavation of Radha-kunda undertaken by Dasa Goswami, the local population gradually expanded as more and more devotees came to live at Radha-kunda. As Raghunatha did not want people washing clothes or cleaning cooking utensils in the sacred kunda, he decided to excavate an ancient well formerly used by the gopis known as Gopi Kupa, so that local residents could obtain water for washing clothes and pots without polluting Radha-kunda. During the course of digging inside the well, the workmen suddenly struck a rock which began to bleed. The workers were horrified, and fearing that it was some kind of bad omen or a serious offense, they ran to inform Dasa. Upon hearing the news, Raghunatha immediately halted the excavation work for the day to consider the situation. That night in a dream, Raja Maharaja, the personified Govardhana hill, appeared before Raghunatha and informed him that the rock that was inadvertently struck and began to bleed, was in fact Raja's own tongue. In the dream, Raja told Raghunatha to remove the rock, and after placing it in a suitable temple, Raghunatha should worship it every day by offering Radha-kunda water and tulasi leaves. It is said that one who circumambulate this Jivashila 7 times receives the same benefit as performing a full Parikrama of the Govardhana hill. This is the Samadhi Pitha of 3 important Gaudiya Goswamis, namely, Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Krishnadasa Kaviraj Goswami, and Dasa Goswami, who were all cremated at Radha-kunda and their ashes were entombed at this place. This area was previously an open space near the banks of Radha-kunda, is said to be the actual site of the cremation ceremony. Due to the volatile political situation prevailing in India at that time, and the constant threat posed by Muslim fanatics, it was decided to cremate the bodies of these famous Vaishnava saints, so that in the future their sacred remains could not be dug up and desecrated. These highly venerated Goswamis all lived at Radha-kunda and were also close friends. They all disappeared on the same day, Ashvina Sukla Dwadashi, in the Vaishnava month of Damodara, but in different years, 1579, 1582, 1583, respectively. A portion of their ashes were also entombed at other locations. Raghunatha Bhatta's ashes were entombed at the 64 Samadhi Pitha in Vrindavana, The ashes of Krishna Dasa Kaviraja at the Radha-kunda Mandira in Vrindavana, and the ashes of Raghunatha Goswami at the place on the banks of Radha-kunda, where he sat every day to chant his japa.
Sri Goswami Samadhi.
This is the place on the banks of Radha-kunda where Gopala Bhatta Goswami performed his bhajana. He established the Raghunatha Mandira in Vrindavana, and in the later years of his life spent much of his time living at Radha-kunda in the association of Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Krishna Dasa Kaviraja, and Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami. It is said that due to his great humility he requested Krishna Dasa Kaviraja not to mention his name in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Raghunatha Goswami also made a similar request to Krishna Dasa Kaviraja. The Samadhi of Gopala Bhatta Goswami is situated at the Radha-kunda Mandira in Vrindavana.
Gopala Bhatta Goswami Bhajan Kutir.
To the right of Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Pad's Bhajan Kutir is the Bhajan Kutir of Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami. When Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami first came to Radha-kunda from Puri after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance, he used to do his bhajan in the open. It is related in the Bhakti Ratnakar that one day on the bank of Syama-kunda, which was surrounded in those days by dense jungles, he was absorbed in meditation, and a tiger and a tigress came to drink water from the kund. As Lord Krishna is eternally protecting his devotees, he came and saw from a distance that the tigers slowly went away. At that time Srila Sanatana Goswami came and saw the whole scene. As Shri Krishna couldn't remain hidden from Srila Sanatana Goswami, he simply smiled at him and disappeared. Srila Sanatana Goswami then came to Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami, disturbed his bhajan and admonished him, asking him what kind of bhajan he is doing that the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna has to come and personally protect him from wild animals. Srila Sanatana Goswami then advised him to build a small kutir and do bhajan inside, but Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami did not take him seriously. On another occasion in midsummer, Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami was sitting in the open in the early morning, lamenting in separation from Srimati Radharani. As the day progressed, the sun became hotter and hotter and Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami was perspiring profusely. Tears were flowing from his eyes, making the ground muddy. Srimati Radharani could not bear this scene and personally came and stood at his back to shade him with her apron, bearing the full force of the sunlight, so that she was also perspiring profusely. Srimati Radharani was herself so anxious to taste the love in separation from her felt by Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami that the ground became even more muddy. At that time Srila Sanatana Goswami came and saw the whole scene, but didn't know what to do. Srimati Radharani smiled at Srila Sanatana Goswami and disappeared. Srila Sanatana Goswami then disturbed Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami and admonished him again, describing what he had just seen. When Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami saw Srimati Radharani's footprints behind him, he rolled on the footprints crying like a child. Srila Sanatana Goswami consoled him and with the help of some devotees quickly made a small thatched cottage, kutir, for Raghunatha Das. Since that time the kutir system started. Some time later, while doing bhajan, Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami thought that as Radha-kunda and Shyama-kunda were two muddy ponds, if steps could be built around them, then the devotees would not have to wade through the mud to take bath. Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami immediately regretted the thought, thinking that already for his sake their lordships have been disturbed twice in their pastimes, and now they will have to be disturbed again to fulfill this desire through an external agent. So dropped the idea. A rich merchant had gone to Sri Badrinarayan in the Himalayas to donate his profits to a deity, but the night before he was to give the money, Sri Narayana appeared to him in a dream, telling him to go to Sri Radha-kunda, nearly 1,000 miles away, and take shelter of Srila Raghunatha Goswami to offer him the money to use as he wished. On offering the money at Sri Radha-kunda, Srila Raghunatha Goswami, who is renunciation personified, at first refused the money, but when the merchant explained the situation, Raghunatha Goswami accepted it and sent for Srila Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan, who, under the instruction of Srila Raghunatha Goswami, purchased the two paddy lands, Gauri and Kari, in the name of Srila Jiva Goswami. During the excavation of Sri Radha-kunda, the original kund made by Srimati Radharani's broken bangle was uncovered in the bottom, and around this about 20 steps were built on all sides.
Bhajan Kutir of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami.
To be continued in Sri Radha-kunda and Sri Syama-kunda Parikrama Part 2, Vraja Mandala, UP, India.